Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'd like to chat to you about my favorite high fashion studio light setup. So recently I've been playing around with different light setups in the studio. I've been using a single light for the majority of my work, but I felt like I would need to expand it a bit more. And I remembered seeing people using the big softbox kind of overhead, and it was giving this lovely moody light, so I decided to try it on for myself. And I really liked it, but I felt like it needed something extra, so I added an extra beauty dish in the front, and it gives this really beautiful moody light that creates loads of kind of like lovely shadows and so on, and I thought I would show it to you today. So for this particular setup, I used two Bowen's Gemini 500 lights. I had a look online and you can get them for around $800 for two. I'll link them down below. The light that was above the model was a 47-inch softbox, and the light that I had in front of the model was just with a 22-inch beauty dish. I also used two black flags on each side of the model, and the sole purpose of that is to concentrate the light more in the middle and create more shadows on each side, because the black board is going to get rid of some of the light on the sides and kind of create this lovely kind of shadows. So lots of you have been asking me, where do you get those kind of boards and so on. Usually the easiest way to do is to get a polystyrene board from DIY shops and so on, and you just paint one of the sides black, and that's what you use it as. You can also use fabric if you want to, but you just have to have something to suspend it from. You could even use paper, whatever is basically black and will absorb the light. In this kind of lighting scenario, you have to know what you want. If you set up the softbox as your main light, you will end up with a much more shadowy kind of look, especially on the model's face. I wanted something a bit cleaner because it was all about the jewelry and about the clothes, so I ended up setting up the beauty dish as my main light, and then I had the overhead light as my fill-in that gave me the lovely kind of cheekbone shadows and so on. Positioning of your light in this kind of situation is crucial. It's very important for the beauty dish to be at the right distance. I think I kept it around a meter away from the model. Also, you need to place it at the right height, otherwise the shadows are not going to look right. They're going to be either too long or too short. By putting it just slightly above eye level and tilting it down, I got the perfect length of the shadows. For the overhead light, it was very important to keep the model at the rim of the light, not in the center of it, just because it would create way too many blown out highlights and way too many deep shadows, and it just wouldn't be a good look. So by pushing her away from the center, kind of towards the end, or even kind of slightly past the rim of the light, you create a much more uniform highlights and much softer shadows. I ended up using two lenses. One of them was my trusty 50mm 1.4 lens that I used for half body to full body shots. I felt like 35 might have been ideal, but unfortunately I didn't have any, so I was working with what I had. And then a second lens that I used was my 100mm macro 2.8 lens that I used for any of the closer kind of detail shots that I wanted from the model. I used similar settings on both lenses. I went between f20 and 22. I kept my shutter speed at 1/60th of a second because if you go any higher, it's not going to sync properly with the light, and it's going to create black lines at the sides of your photos. And I kept my ISO at 100 for all the shots. One thing I would keep in mind when doing this kind of shoot is that this light is quite harsh, and it might not be as forgiving for people who don't have great skin. My model on the day had amazing skin, but if you have girls who have loads of bumps and so on, you might be better off to steer away from this kind of light and maybe go for something a bit softer, as this one is going to create quite a lot of work for you in Photoshop. Other than that though, I find it to be a very amazing, versatile light. It's one of my favorite light setups. It's pretty simple to set up, and it's very, very effective, and it will give you this really, really high fashion kind of look. So I definitely recommend trying it out. So I'd like to take a minute to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. It's really awesome of them to support small creators like me. They are an awesome all-in-one platform to create your website. They have loads of beautiful templates and the designs to create your website from. They're super simple to use. There's no unnecessary updates, so you don't have to stress about anything like that. They are very, very affordable, so if you don't have hundreds of dollars to spend on designers, you can just create it yourself, and it's just so simple to do it. So I definitely recommend that you guys check it out. If you do want to check it out, make sure that you check my link. It's squarespace.com/Anita, and you will get 10% discount at the checkout. So make sure to check them out if you're in need of any website, shop, or anything like that, and I'm sure you're not going to be disappointed. On that note, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed my little light explanation and so on. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.